Okay, for our chart, we're still heading up. We're still hanging in the middle here. You can see the blue midline. I readjusted the pennant pattern that I was seeing. I don't know if that's going to be super helpful or not, but you can see it has numerous touch points, 3 on each side. So I think that's pretty decent. And we are at the bottom. So actually this looks like it might be a pretty decent trading day. And the MACD is currently heading down, but because it's uptrending, it's possible that it is also losing that downward momentum. So a little tentative, but this is just the 4-hour chart. Okay, as we zoom in, the 1 hour, we can see that it has indeed bounced off of the teal line there, which is also matching up with the SMA, the 180 SMA on the 1 hour here. The MACD is also below average, which is a good place to be when it's uptrending for a good long position entry. However, it is sitting at a resistance level, that SMA up here. So want to be careful. I'm not saying that the RSI is super helpful right now. It's just kind of matching up with the price action. So not really telling us anything new, and it's right at the average. So all right, 30-minute chart. Looks like in this zigzag pattern, it's starting to form a turning point and maybe dropping. Even though it's generally uptrending, it's possible it's on a downward leg. And I'm wondering if it's a good time for a short. Okay, so as I zoomed in a little bit further, 15-minute, I'm definitely seeing that this is a good place for a short. So I placed my order and kind of put the amounts in there, and this is a pretty big trade, and we're also still looking at the 15-minute chart. So until I actually zoom in a little bit and look at a clearer, smaller chart picture, I'm not going to actually place this trade. Okay, 5-minute chart here, readjusted stuff, and I think this is a really good place to be in. I got in and it started to drop almost right away. It's not quite a 1-to-2 ratio, but I'm pretty certain of the drop, so I don't mind that extra little bit of risk. Okay, and as it dropped, it's looking good. All right, now I've adjusted my stop to make it a little bit better for the risk to reward ratio. It's starting to hesitate just a little bit here, but the 5-minute chart's still very much downtrending. 1-minute chart downtrending, but I think it's starting to hesitate and it's sitting at a support. So I lowered the stop to lock in the profit that I had made so far. So I would only make just a little over $50, it looks like, if it did get stopped out. Hoping that it dropped just a little bit further, and it looks like it is. I raised up the limit a few ticks because of that hesitation, trying to catch that at the best place I possibly can, and raised it up some more, lowered the stop, and just sandwiched that order. It looked like it dropped some more, and I believe it took my limit. I'm not positive about that. It might have taken my stop, judging by the amount. But anyway, I did make a small profit on that one, so that was good. All right, back to the 15-minute, re-evaluating the last 3 time frames that I'm looking at here, the 1, the 5, and the 15. I just keep going back and over those as different moves appear. And still kind of sitting at the value area high from yesterday. I haven't really broken through that too far yet. That's kind of where all the SMAs are. It does look like it bounced off that pennant line, and it doesn't really want to go back down to it yet. So it's possible that we're going to be heading up now. And you can see on the MACD on the 15-minute chart, it had a little dip there, but it didn't really play out fully. And so it's possible it's heading up. Okay, 5-minute chart, heading up, but again, we're at that resistance level. So kind of wait till it makes a break through that. That's why I put my dotted alert line in here, so that when it does do that, I can get in, because it kind of looks to me like it's going to be heading up. All right, zoomed in finally to the 1-minute chart, and it looks like it's ready to drop. So we're going to wait till that MACD straightens up and looks like it's heading up again. So we're going to wait for this drop to fulfill and then get into a long is what I'm thinking. All right, so I got in here because of these last two candles, but the SMA hadn't really been broken yet. I think I was just worried that I was going to miss out on the movement because I was pretty sure it was heading up and I didn't know how far down it was going to go. So I got in, but almost immediately decided, yeah, I think that was just too soon. It just was struggling to get above that SMA, hadn't done that yet. And it's possible it would drop down, even to here or even to, a little bit further down. And that would be a fair amount of loss that I didn't really want to put on the table. And so, note where my my stop order is. It's at 83.50. There was a period of time there where I thought maybe it was looking better, but then it started to drop again. It's like, I don't know. And now the MACD really looks bad. So it's like, shoot, I don't think I should have been in this trade. So I decided to try to get out at break even here. I was hoping that it would go up. And time is ticking by here. It's 9:18, getting close to the opening bell, which makes me very nervous because I'm not 100% certain that it is going up. I think it is, but I'm not. I'm more like, maybe 60% sure if you want to put a percentage on it. All right. So it kind of stopped and hesitated at that point, and so I just got out at a $50 loss. So I'm still at a profit for the day, but that last trade, I just don't think I did well on that one. Didn't do good. All right, so opening bells in 10 minutes, and I'm also thinking, oh man, this is not a good time to trade. I only have 10 minutes to make a move, or else I have to wait till 10 o'clock. When it slows down a little bit, so that's unfortunate. So feeling a little bit of pressure, but it's okay. I'm at a profit. I want to be careful. I do not want to do anything stupid, and so just watching it, waiting for that drop to finish. And this is where it got a little interesting. So, I got into a long here. Actually, I put the order in, but I hadn't quite filled it yet, I think, or it hadn't taken yet. Now I've got my stop down here at 83.50, which I think was exactly where it was before. Got filled, and opening bells in 4 minutes, and then I got stopped out. So you can see at 83.50 here, that's where I got stopped out. But it had dipped down, and it dipped down just a few ticks more. And then it started to go up. So if I had just lowered that stop just a little bit more, I would have been fine. I would have been just fine. And it kept going up beautifully. Absolutely beautifully. It was moving really fast at this point, so we had it up, down, up, so that's a bit nerve-wracking. So there's a part of me that kind of was looking back and thinking, should I have lowered that stop, and should I have put more risk on the table? Was I certain about that trade? And I was pretty certain, but that would have been a little bit more risk than I really wanted to put on the table. So it was very unfortunate, and I lost all the profit that I made today except for $10 or something. And it was nice that I was right, so I'm hanging on to that as a positive thought. But yeah, I did blow it on that one, unfortunately. And then it kept going up. Oh man, it is really going up here. So now I'm sitting here and thinking, well, shoot, kind of missed that move. I keep thinking it's going to run into a resistance level and start dropping again. So I don't want to get into a long. And I really don't want to get into a short because that's some pretty serious bullish movement right through there. And I thought, okay, well, I'll just wait for it. I was hopeful right here that it was going to drop and I could get into a long and then ride it up. If I could have done this trade right here, that would have been an awesome trade. However, it didn't drop any further than that, and then it had another huge, big, quick leg up, and look at that dotted line right there. We're in the midpoint of that channel again, which I think is kind of acting as a resistance level. And on the 1 minute chart, I mean, the MACD is like sky high here, so it's still not a good time to get into a long. I'm just waiting for it to drop, hoping that it drops again so I can like get into a decent place. But it's really not a good time to trade right now. So I'm just stuck waiting. I'm still seeing that we are like hitting all these resistance levels, and surely it will start dropping here soon. This is really looking likely. This is the 1 minute chart. You can see the MACD is really, really extended and really looking like a drop. So it's really tempting for me to, I have a long position kind of set up here. This is my ideal, but contemplating doing a short as well. As a matter of fact, as soon as this big candle happened, I was like, yeah, I gotta get into a short now. So I jumped in, and this is not bad. I think it might actually get down to this SMA here. This is not bad. I'm almost certain that it's going to drop a little bit further. Now this is a little bit concerning because you have a lot of cluster of orders right through here, and that's right where we are. So that's possible. That's as far down as it will go. But then pretty quickly it blew past that and continued to drop. And so I locked in some profit. I dropped my stop down, and that is really good. I'm happy with that. So let's see, this would be, you know, over $150 right there that it's at. And right now, if I got out right here, that would be good too. But I thought it was probably going to drop further. Okay. When it hesitated, I decided, nope, I just want to get out right now. And so I raised up my limit and got out. And this is the 5 minute chart. It's still looking like it might drop. And there's still some movement left to be had, I think. But I don't know that I want to do another short. I think I might want to wait for it to finish that drop and then maybe do a long. Still thinking about it. 15 minute looks like it's starting to lose the upward momentum, but we haven't turned yet. So that's a big difference. Okay, and it did end up going down almost to the SMA and then showed signs of it possibly going up. So I got into a long, and my stop is down here at a pretty considerable loss position right through there, even though I think it's probably going to get up to this point. And I chose this point because that is the last peak. The red line is the highest it's ever been, and I was hoping for more than just the peak here. So I got into a long and it started to drop and I blew it. I got stopped out at this pretty decent sized loss position, that stop. So I was now at a loss a bit for the day of maybe $50 or so, maybe actually more like 75. And so then I continued to watch it here, and it looks like it really is, it actually touched the SMA this time, and it really, really does look like it's heading up. I think I just didn't know how far down it was going to go, and so I didn't want to put any more risk on the table than that. I mean, that was big enough. So I got into a long, and I'm not expecting such great things anymore, and this is a really, really, really good setup, risk to reward ratio here. So going long, I'm in, and it's starting to go up. So I'm very happy. As soon as it made that great big move, I raised up my stop to make sure that I didn't lose any money. It would be break even. And it's starting to turn. Looks really good on the MACD. Looks like it's heading up. It's possible that it will hit this and kind of stagnate. And we can kind of see that it did that. So I lowered my limit to try to catch it at the next little jump upwards, but just to make sure, I did lock in a little bit of profit there, so just under $100. and it went up, and I think I got out at that limit order. So I got out probably just about as good as I could have gotten without hanging on for a little bit more. The MACD really does look good, so it's possible I could have hung on there, but trying to be cautious and be happy with the smaller kind of trades just to be on the safe side. Okay, so I went out to the 15-minute to kind of look at the bigger picture again, and still hasn't really turned over. We're just losing the upward momentum, but we haven't really dropped yet. We can only see the drop when we get to the 5-minute chart, and it really does look like it's going to be dropping some more. So it's kind of hit this area right through here, and not able to get above it too much. So I think the ideal trade right here would be to get into a short right about this point, and the stop would be up here, and then if I could get out there, that would be a fabulous trade. So I've got my order placed, but it hasn't quite filled. You can see there's a bit of a gap here. And as I zoom in a little bit, you can see that I probably wouldn't have gotten filled quite that high, so I lowered that entry order to the SMA here, and that has limited the amount of profit that I will get, but I'm still happy with that trade. Pretty sure it's going to be dropping. So I got in, and as soon as it started to drop, I locked in the no loss by dropping that stop and holding my breath here, double checking the 5-minute chart. Started to drop some more. Very happy with this setup. Locked in the profit and got out. So went out and kind of looked at how much profit I'd made for the day, because it feels like I've made a ton of trades and I've only made 147 profit, which is something for sure. And I could stop right now, but man, it's Friday. I'd really like to end by breaking through that $151,000 barrier, and maybe that's a bad reason, I don't know. We're so close. We're like $70 away from it. So if I do have an opportunity to make another good trade, and I don't want to trade unless it's a really good trade, I think I would take it. So went out to the 15-minute and thought, okay, this is an opportunity here. It really, really does look like it's going to drop. We can really see the MACD is starting to turn. I really think that it could drop. So I put in an order here and placed stop and exit order pretty good spots, but I'm going to adjust them as I zoom in. All right, 5-minute chart. I got in kind of at the top of the bodies of these candles that it's struggling to get above. Excuse me. And the stop is almost out of range of all those wicks. So that's a decent place for a stop, and my risk to reward is really good here. And my limit is on the SMA. So I think actually everything looks pretty good. And if I do get stopped out, I'm break even for the day. Haven't lost anything, but haven't gained anything. So I think that's a good place to be. I'm happy with that. I think it's worth the risk here. I really do. 5-minute chart, MACD, of course, looks really good. Okay, kind of holding my breath here. And then we had a really nice big drop. Oh, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So I locked in some profit, but try not to get it too close because I'm really hoping that it will go all the way down there. I think I ended up raising up that limit to the body of these candles here instead of the SMA. And when it hesitated, I raised up that stop raised up the limit and got out. So now I'm sitting at 341 for the day, which is the biggest day that I've had so far. So here is the chart on Blue Sky, and you can see my profit line right through here. And the days that I've traded here and each profit that I've made for each day, and it's a little scary because I've broken my habits, my historical norm, and I know that there is going to be some lost days in this period of time. So the fact that I haven't, pretty exciting. So we shall see what next week brings, but I better be really, really careful and continue that cautiousness and keep my head on straight, and keep that mindset of just knowing that I could blow it at any moment by doing something stupid. So, all right, we'll see what next week brings.